Master of Sass, into the breach. Nia flew the Destiny's bounty away from Ninjago City. How far, Nia? Cole asked. We're going as fast as we can, but this ship needs some fine-tuning for sure, Nia replied. Jay was busy at the computer, then he cautiously looked around. He nearly jumped out of his skin when he saw Garmadon standing right next to him. As Garmadon walked away, Jay turned to the other ninja. Am I the only one freaking out about this? He asked. Why freak out? Our deranged, psychotic arch-nemesis is now our house guest, Kai said sarcastically. I find the term freak out inadequate and imprecise. I prefer to say I am deeply troubled, Zane said. I would say that I am greatly distressed, Irene added. Lloyd, are you sure he can be trusted? Nia whispered nervously. No, of course not, Lloyd replied. Jay looked at Garmadon walking around and inspecting the buttons. Of course not! That's not what you're supposed to say! You're supposed to say yes, he whimpered. What choice do we have? If Master Wu was right and we're under attack by the Oni, then my father may be our best chance, Lloyd said. And anyway, he doesn't have his powers back, so how much trouble can he really cause? Garmadon chose that moment to press a button. The sails folded in as the thrusters shut off. Everyone stared at Garmadon as he walked away. Did he just turn off the... Zane began. The ship began to plummet. Oh, great, Kai muttered. The ninja all screamed as they fell. He shut off the engines! We're gonna crash! Jay shrieked. Zane, the emission switch! Hit the emission switch! Nia yelled. Zane started making his way to the emission switch, but Kai fell into him, knocking him back. Ah! I can see the ground! It's getting really close, really fast! Jay panicked. Zane tried again and hit the switch just before the bounty hit the ground. They flew back up into the sky again. Irene breathed a sigh of relief. That button should be labeled, Garmadon remarked. Ugh, it is labeled! It says don't push while in motion, Nia shouted at him as he went down to the lower deck. Perhaps it would be wise to accompany your father, Lloyd, to prevent further mishaps, Zane suggested. Lloyd looked frustrated. Ugh, I can't believe I have to babysit my own father, he muttered as he followed after Garmadon. Kai and Jay were sweeping up the deck. So, did you pop the question yet? Kai asked. No, I'm waiting for the right time, Jay replied. There may not be a right time, Jay. You gotta just do it, Kai told him. Cole and Irene popped out from around the corner. Do what? Cole asked. Is it the thing that had you so flustered this morning? Irene said. Jay's gonna ask Nia to be his yang, Kai revealed. Irene gasped excitedly. What? Seriously? She exclaimed. That's great, Cole said. He frowned slightly. Why am I always the last person to know these things? Shh! Will you keep your voices down, please? Jay begged. He's been planning it for weeks, Kai said. Weeks? Haha, you gotta just do it, Jay. It's like ripping off an old bandage. The sooner you get it over with, the better, Cole said, smiling and embracing Kai, Jay, and Irene, who looked at him in surprise. Did you just compare Nia to an old bandage? Jay asked. The smile slid off Cole's face so fast it made Irene grin. Nice. Way to go, Cole. Way to take the romance out of it, Kai said. Cole grinned sheepishly. All hands to the bridge, Zane said over the loudspeaker. Irene, Cole, Jay, and Kai all ran up. Nia and Zane were already there, as were Lloyd and Garmadon. Kai signaled to Garmadon that he was watching. Garmadon cleared his throat to get everyone's attention. The ninja all automatically took up defensive stances in case he tried anything. The Oni entered this realm through a portal or rift between our world and theirs. There are only one or two ways this is possible, Garmadon explained. And I'm willing to wager it would have been through the realm crystal. To stop this darkness from spreading, the crystal must be destroyed. Zane went to the computer and started searching information on the realm crystal, typing furiously. The realm crystal is currently housed in the new high-security vault below Borg Tower, he said. That's smack in the middle of Ninjago City, Nia exclaimed. We just escaped from there, remember? It's engulfed in a giant black cloud of destruction, and now you're asking us to turn around and go back? Kai demanded. I ask nothing. I am telling you that if you wish to stop the darkness, the crystal must be destroyed, Garmadon replied. And I'm telling you, forget it. Just one of those black cloud tentacle things touched my foot for a second and nearly froze me solid. Cole said, we wouldn't last a minute inside the darkness. That is correct. You are merely human. I, however, am Oni. I can enter the darkness, make my way to the crystal, and destroy it, Garmadon said. I will, of course, require a weapon. Ha! Fat chance, Irene said. Do you really expect us to just hand you a sword and let you go? Lloyd said. If you wish to live, yes, Garmadon replied. Well, forget it. No way, Lloyd shouted. I wouldn't trust you with a pillow, Kai suggested. Cole, Lloyd, Jay, Nia, and Irene all gave him the same unamused look. It's the most harmless thing I could think of, Kai protested. Lloyd turned back to Garmadon. It's not going to happen. You're not going anywhere. Not without me. I'm your son, remember? He said, walking right up to him. I'm Oni too. No, Garmadon said, pushing Lloyd back. The other ninja readied themselves for a fight. You are part Oni. That means you might survive. Well, I guess we'll find out, Lloyd declared as his father walked away. Irene was down in the cabin, cleaning her sais. It was important to maintain her weapons and keep them clean and sharp. If they broke in battle, it could mean the difference between life and death. So she made sure to take care of her weapons, and she would check on the others' weapons as well. It wouldn't do to have Kai's blades snap in the middle of a fight, or Nia's spear be so rusted and brittle it would be useless. A weapon in good condition meant her friends would be okay. Lloyd walked in while she was polishing the sais. He looked angry, but also scared. What's wrong, Lloyd? Irene asked. Nothing, Lloyd said. You know I can tell when you're lying. I know something's bothering you. Come, sit. Tell me what's on your mind, Irene said, patting the spot beside her. Lloyd sat down next to her. I don't trust my father, he said. None of us do, but go on, Irene said. I hate that we had no other choice but to go to him for help. I'm worried that I might not be able to survive in that darkness, but someone has to go with my father, and I stand the best chance of survival, being part Oni, but what if I don't make it? What if my father makes a bad situation worse? Lloyd asked. Irene looked at him. She saw in his eyes the scared, lonely little boy he once was. He wasn't a lonely little boy anymore, but he was still scared. Come here, she said, opening her arms. Lloyd hugged her tightly. Yeah, Garmadon might make a bad situation worse. Yeah, there's a chance you won't make it down there, but know this. There is a chance you will. There's a chance that all this will work out, and you'll succeed. Just hang on to that chance. It's all the hope we've got, Irene whispered in his ear. Lloyd nodded, and Irene let go. Now, let's go back out there and get you ready. I think we're almost there, she said, standing up. Lloyd stood as well, and the two of them headed back up to the bridge. Lloyd got ready to go into the darkness. Zane strapped a small camera around Lloyd's head. This will allow us to see what is happening inside the cloud, he said. You sure you want to do this, Lloyd? Kai asked. I'll be fine, don't worry, Lloyd assured. That assumption is unfounded. You are mostly human. That side of you is weak, Garmadon said. It's also stubborn. Let's go, Lloyd said. Give him a sword, Cole. Cole pulled a sword from the weapons rack, eyeing Garmadon suspiciously. You sure about that? He asked. Lloyd nodded. Garmadon looked impatient. Cole nervously tossed the sword. Garmadon examined the blade as Cole turned around. Garmadon lunged at Cole. Irene saw this and quickly put up a force field around Cole. Look out! Kai shouted, drawing his katanas and leaping at Garmadon. Cole turned and screamed in surprise as Garmadon's sword struck the force field. He jumped back as Irene dropped the force field and pulled out his hammer to block Garmadon's next strike. Garmadon knocked him aside and turned to Jay, who had his nunchucks out. Garmadon simply grabbed Jay's weapon and tossed the nunchuck over his shoulder, then tossed Jay on top of Cole. Irene rushed at him, intending to disarm him, but Garmadon grabbed her wrist and twisted it, making her drop her sai, then flipped her over his shoulder onto Jay and Cole. Lloyd started with Spinjitzu, but Garmadon jumped over him and landed on Kai, then jumped on Zane. He then swung his sword at Pixel. Nia jumped down from the bridge with her spear, but Garmadon blocked her strike and kicked her. Zane fired an arrow at him, but he blocked it. Nia started after Garmadon again, but he kicked her back into Kai, knocking them both down. Garmadon grabbed Pixel by the throat, then tossed her into Zane. The ninja all got back up, taking defensive stances. "Try that again," Cole challenged, hefting his hammer. "Now that I'm ready." Garmadon raised a hand, which was now glowing with dark power. That's better," he said, then jumped off the ship. "Okay, what the heck was that?" Cole demanded. "Conflict fuels him," Lloyd said. "He was powering up," Zane realized. "I do not trust him," Cole said, angrily stomping in Lloyd's direction. "Lloyd, are you sure you want to go through with this?" Nia asked. Lloyd looked at his friends. They were all worried for him. "No, but I don't really have a choice," he said. He grabbed his sword and a parachute and jumped over the side. "Lloyd!" Irene cried, leaning over the railing. They all watched as he dove down into the cloud of darkness. "The camera beam. Come on," Zane said, and they all ran to the bridge to watch Lloyd's progress. From the feed, they could tell that his fall had slowed. "He opened his parachute," Zane said. Nia pointed to some smoky tentacles in the corner of the screen. "What are those?" she asked. Cole groaned in disgust. "That's one of the things that grabbed my foot," he said, shuddering. "It was terrible." They watched as Lloyd landed on the ground, took off the parachute, and sheathed his sword. Lloyd started to choke, gasping for air as he fell to his knees. Garmadon started to walk away. "Oh no!" Nia cried. "We have to get him out of there," Cole said as Lloyd continued to gasp. "Wait, look," Zane said, pointing to the screen. Lloyd had recovered and was getting up. "He's okay," Nia said with a sigh of relief. Irene let out a breath she hadn't realized she'd been holding. The ninja watched as Lloyd and Garmadon made their way to Borg Tower. There were several people frozen on the street, and one of them was incredibly familiar. It was Cyrus Borg. "Oh, Pix, it's your father," Nia said, eyes wide. Pixel gasped. Lloyd and Garmadon argued for a moment about whether to take Borg with them or not, then ultimately continued without him. Zane put his arms around Pixel to comfort her. The radio crackled with static and a voice came through. "Can anyone hear me?" Zane ran over to the radio. "Come in," he said. "Vinnie Folston," the voice said through the static. "Come in, we hear you," Zane said. "NGTV News, signing off," the voice said. Then the audio cut off. "What was that?" Kai asked. "I believe it was a distress call, but we have lost the audio," Zane replied. "Can you trace the signal?" Irene asked. "I will attempt to triangulate the source," Zane replied, typing quickly. "There, several miles east of us. It appears to be a television station on the outskirts of Ninjago City," Zane said. "Maybe some people who didn't evacuate in time," Cole said. "We gotta help them," Kai said. "What about Lloyd? We can't just abandon him," Jay pointed out. "If someone's in trouble, Lloyd would be the first person to tell us to help," Nia said. "That may be, but Lloyd would be incorrect. There's literally nothing more imperative than the success of his mission. If he fails, all of Ninjago is lost," Zane said. Perhaps there is a way to be in more places than one," Pixel spoke up. "I can remain behind in the Samurai X mech while you take the bounty and investigate the distress call." "What if you run out of fuel?" Nia asked. "That would not be good. Let us hope you are back before that happens," Pixel said. She took hold of Zane's hand, making him smile. "We will be back," he promised. Pixel smiled back and let go, pressing a button on her wrist to call the mech. She hopped into the mech when it arrived and flew into the air. She hovered in place as the bounty flew off. Zane looked back. "She'll be okay," Nia assured, then went to the controls to take the ship to the distress call. Irene went to watch Lloyd's progress. Lloyd was hiding around the corner of a building, watching the entrance of Borg Tower. It was guarded by demonic-looking figures that looked like the one in the book Wu had shown them. "Those are Oni. Those are actual Oni." Garmadon boldly walked up to the Oni. They didn't seem to like him, for they sent smoky dark tentacles at him. Garmadon attacked, and Lloyd quickly joined in with Spinjitzu. The darkness knocked him over, and he scrambled to get away from another tentacle coming toward him. The Oni put up a good fight, but Garmadon defeated them in the end. They entered the tower, passing by a few people who hadn't escaped in time, their faces frozen in terror. Lloyd and Garmadon followed the darkness to the lower levels of the tower. The screen flickered with static. "He must be nearing the source of the darkness. The realm crystal seems to be interfering with the signal," Zane observed, standing next to Irene. Cole came and stood on her other side. On the camera feed, Lloyd and Garmadon entered a dark room. Jay came to watch just as they saw the realm crystal, jet black and spilling out shadows, voices whispering. "There it is! Destroy it! Quick!" Jay shouted, shaking Zane. "He cannot hear you," Zane told him. They watched as Garmadon struck at the crystal, and a staff blocked him. Garmadon was thrown back against the wall as the shadows took on the shape of an Oni far older and more powerful than the others they'd seen. Kai stared in shock as he joined the others to watch. As Lloyd and Garmadon fought the Oni, the camera was hit and the feed cut out. Kai started frantically typing. "Zane, how do we get the signal back?" he asked. "The signal is lost, Kai," Zane replied. Irene stared at the blank screen. "We won't know if Lloyd succeeds or fails until it's too late,"